Hello, this is Tom Herring. I'm going to show you this Hungarian high-power clone. It's called the model PJK TAC 9HP. Supposedly it's a part-for-part clone of the Browning high-power, not the newer one, but the older model, the FN35 high-power. You have this little, wherever this ridge is called on the barrel bushing here. I believe it's flush. I have a Browning high-power that's manufactured probably a year or two ago, and right now it's getting trigger work done, but I bought this one used at a pawn shop. It was in very bad shape. Came with one Mekgar 13-round magazine, and safeties on these things are very small, hard to use. Let's clear the weapon. You see that there's a bullet there. They're kind of useless without bullets. We do another safety check. See, it's empty. Usually what you'd want to do is hold your weapon clear visually and physically inspect the chamber. If your finger fits, there's nothing there. It's all good. The first thing I wanted to do was, I was like, well, this gun was it had a lot of rust on it. The whole barrel here was all rusty, and there was rust, and you can see on the front strap here, it's kind of rusty. Everywhere else too. So I said, you know, this finish, it would have been a nice finish. I had some cheesy wood grips, but I had these plastic grips from a Hungarian high power I had about 10 years ago. I kept the grips, and I put them on here. So what I said, well, you know what I'm going to do with this gun? It was straight stock when I got it. I said, you know, I'm going to build this up as a carry gun or whatever gun. And I'm going to keep my other Browning pretty much just stock. I'm not going to do anything to it. I paid about $350 for this gun, used, and I didn't mind it. I like high powers. They feel very good in my hand. You know, I have smaller hands, not very large. You know, I'm only 5'9". My hand size is a 10. I wear a 10 glove comfortably. This weapon needs see, it's not machined correctly. You can see the difference in machining. If you can see right there, see how it's a little bit thinner right here in this area, but still I chamfered these edges, you know, because they were sharp. All the sharp edges on this gun I'm going to knock down. I've already started with a ceramic stone, and I'm going to finish up with some fine grit sandpaper. The trigger, it's kind of sharp. All the sharp edges you want to knock down. And not only for comfort, you see right here, this just chatter marks in the machining, I'm going to knock those down so you can't see them. But comfort's one thing, but another thing is longevity. In this area here, if you notice on high powers, this area is high prone for failure right here. And what you want to do is you want to chamfer all inside of here also, and on the underside. Every edge you want to chamfer. That means you want to make it not sharp anymore. You want to take this, sand it down or stone it down or whatever you want to do. But I would highly recommend doing it on any gun you're going to use for shoot a lot. And I'm going to shoot this weapon a lot. First thing I do is I took the magazine safety out. A lot of people say don't do it, but you know, it's my gun. I do what I want to do. I face the consequences if I don't want that junk in there. You can do it without. You can keep it in there. Just another part to fail, to bind up. Never know what's going to happen. The fewer parts, the better, as far as I'm concerned. So I took this out. I tried to do a home trigger job. I've never done one of these before, and I heard they're the hardest. But I figured, you know, I didn't pay for much for this gun. I can learn on it. And I also, well, I got the gun because I have about 3,000 rounds of hot lead reloads. I said, I looked for a high .9 millimeter. I couldn't find one. So I said, you know, this gun's okay. And this stuff is hot. It blew up a barrel on a Mac 11 I had. So I figured, you know, I read about these guns, and they say that they have slide failures or the barrels, the lugs break off. I said, well, if anything's going to do, it's going to be this ammunition. I shot about 100 rounds, and I looked down the barrel, and it was getting pretty leaded. And I said, you know, that's enough. So after 2 hours, I got all the lead cleaned out of the barrel, which wasn't fun at all. And I said, you know, that's when I decided I'm going to do something else with this pistol. So I'll pop the slide off here for you guys to have a look-see. And you can see in this area right here where I had attempted to do a stoning job. I only took a little bit. I could have taken more off. It did make a big difference on the trigger pull. But you can see all these areas in here are very rough. I'm going to clean them all up with sandpaper. All these areas in here, everything that's sharp, I'm going to make around it. All these right here, it's actually very sharp here, but just for longevity, I'm going to pop the safety out, and I'm going to polish it on the shaft so it comes up and down easier, because it's kind of hard now. And in here, I pulled out this piece, which is called the, I don't know, sear lever, and I polished it so it would move up and down, because this right here, your trigger actually pushes this lever right here. if you don't know, you see this lever moving up and down? That lever pushes up on that, and when it pushes up on that, see, it pushes up on one, and it pivots, and it pushes down this way. And when it pushes down on this, and when it pushes down on that, it releases a hammer. So that's how that works. Anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to polish this gun up. Like I said, I started right here where it was kind of chattered and chamfering all the edges. For one thing, for concealed carry. And then there's a guy here in Tucson called Shootin Irons, and he does gun coats. And for about, he said $135, he would do the gun coat. I don't know if it includes shipping or not, so maybe I could get it cheaper since I'm here in Tucson. But I'm going to clean up, that's why I'm going to go ahead and sand it, because I'm going to refinish it anyway. And also I'm going to get these, probably before that, I'm going to get this machined out of here. I got a set of the fire lights type thing. They're actual Browning parts. They're True Glow sights. I got them from eBay for $6. So I'm going to get this machined out so I can put those Browning sights on here, and I'm going to put probably a Heine or something back here, whatever is cheapest. This is going to be my bargain, you know, tactical type, combat, whatever, my junk gun. Put some new spring kit. You can get a whole spring kit for $17. You replace all the springs in here you want from Wolff gun springs, your whole shooters or service pack. And the guy at Shootin Iron said that he'd do all the springs because he has to tear down the gun anyway. So that's what I'm going to do with this handgun here. I only have this one 13 rounder. I have a couple of 10 rounders that came with my other my Browning I bought. I figured these would be easy to find since they've been making this gun since 1935, but during the last ban you saw these magazines everywhere, but now they're drying up. So I'm only going to get about 3 for, you know, probably 5 total, because, you know, I can only carry one gun at a time. I'm not Neo or anything like that. But anyway, this is what I'm going to do with this handgun. And to anybody out there, I'd highly suggest if you come across the model, and keep this in mind, the PJK, and if you see this cutout right here, if it's large like this large cutout, and it says PJK, see that large cutout? Then you know that you have the copy for copy high power clone. See, this is the actual single action. There's some that look like this that are double action. You don't want that. It looks like a Smith & Wesson. This is the part for part clone of a high power. It's not machined as well and finished as well. But then again, when I got my high power in this area right here, there were some lousy machine marks. I'm like, you know, that's kind of sad for a gun I paid $900 for when this one was $350. So it'll be pretty slick when I get done with it. It'll be a lot of fun. The finish will be tougher than anything you need to do anything with, you know, very tough. Acid, anything you want to do, I don't care. But that's what I'm going to do with that. Hope you guys got some something out of this video. So, hoorah, take care.